Hey ladies, behind every confident woman is a world of secrets, stories untold, lessons learned the hard way, and quiet strength built over time. In the dance of love, desire, and connection, women often carry the emotional weight, navigate the unspoken rules, and master the art of intuition. Today, we're pulling back the curtain. Let's talk about the truths women know, the signals they send, and the mysteries they sometimes keep, especially when it comes to men. This isn't just about romance, it's about power, purpose, and self-worth. How to make him fall for you effortlessly, powerful female secrets revealed. Falling in love shouldn't feel like a battlefield. So why does it often feel that way? What if I told you there's a system behind attraction, a way to understand how men truly connect with women, not just in the short term, but for a lasting, deep, soulful bond? Let's pull back the curtain and talk about something that every woman deserves to know: the 4 levels of connection, a system I've developed from years of work, observation, and experience. This isn't just dating advice. This is about truly understanding how a man falls in love, and more importantly, how he stays there. The first level? Physical. We're starting with chemistry, the sparks, the looks, the desire. That moment when a man sees a woman and thinks, wow, I want her. This is raw attraction, biology, instinct. It's important, no doubt. But here's the twist: it's only the beginning. If a man feels a pull toward you on this level, he becomes open to the next stage. And that's the emotional level. Once he's drawn to your presence, he starts noticing the way you make him feel. Does he feel alive around you? Inspired? Does he crave your energy when you're not around? This is when the connection starts deepening. It's no longer just about how you look, it's about how you affect his inner world. Next comes the intellectual bond. This is where things get interesting. Can he talk to you for hours and still feel like there's more to discover? Does your mind intrigue him? Challenge him? If yes, he's no longer just interested, he's invested. This is the level where trust, admiration, and true companionship begin to grow. And finally, the spiritual connection. This is sacred territory. A man will only go here with a woman he feels is truly his. Not just someone he likes, not even someone he loves, but someone whose soul resonates with his. Here, he becomes vulnerable, open, completely himself. And that is where real love lives. Here's the thing most of us forget: a strong relationship doesn't come from physical chemistry alone. In fact, that's the most easily replaceable level of connection. Why? Because almost any woman can please a man physically, especially if she learns to master the art of seduction. But that alone? It won't earn you a ring. Let's be honest, he might be wild about you for a night, a week, maybe a couple of months. But if he doesn't feel emotionally seen, mentally engaged, and spiritually safe with you, it ends. It fades. And you're left wondering what happened. So no, you don't need to become a super geisha to make a man commit. That's a myth. You can blow his mind in bed, but if you don't reach him here, heart, mind, soul, he'll move on. And here's the plot twist: you don't even need to sleep with him to spark that connection. Attraction and desire are enough to begin the journey. If he feels that magnetism, and then discovers you're also emotionally intelligent, fun to talk to, and spiritually grounded, you're not just a fling, you're the one. But if that initial physical pull is missing, he might still think you're amazing. He might enjoy your company, laugh at your jokes, even call you brilliant. But he'll put you in the friend zone. And once you're there, it's very hard to climb out. So ladies, remember this: a true bond happens when you build connection on all 4 levels. If you want love that lasts, not a 2-week fling, not a 2-month fantasy, but a partnership that grows deeper over time, you need to move past just physical chemistry. Focus on sparking his heart, challenging his mind, and touching his soul. Because when a man feels all 4 levels of connection with you, he's not just falling for you, he's staying forever. You've probably heard this one before: if you act like a total badass, cold, controlling, always in charge, men will fall at your feet. Right? Like you're the queen bee barking commands. Sit. Stay. Come here. Now fetch. And he's supposed to turn into your little lapdog? Let me stop you right there. That strategy? It's a fantasy. A total illusion. Sure, it might get a reaction. Men might chase, they might play the game, especially the competitive ones. They'll see your ice queen act and think, oh, challenge accepted. Let's see who tames who. But here's what really happens. The chase ends. The drama fizzles. The fireworks go off, and then the champagne goes flat. Just like that. Because playing games with a man's emotions might spark passion, but it doesn't build love. It builds adrenaline, not connection. And that kind of high burns out fast. A month, maybe 2. Tops. After that, it's over. He moves on, and you're left wondering why it didn't turn into something real. So let's talk real. Real connection. Real relationships. The kind that don't just feel exciting, they last. We've already touched on the physical and emotional levels. Now, it's time for the most powerful, most underrated, and most competitive layer of all, the intellectual connection. Here's why it matters so much today. Modern men, especially the successful, self-aware ones, are no longer rushing to get married. Why would they? If life already feels fun, vibrant, and full of options, what's the rush? They've got careers, travel, exciting hobbies, a stream of women to date casually. So unless something really stands out, they're not jumping into commitment. At least not right away. But here's the twist. That same man, that driven, magnetic, high-value guy, he is open to marriage. Just not with any woman. He's looking for someone who clicks in the one place most women ignore, his mind. Let me explain. A man like that doesn't pick a wife based on physical chemistry alone. He doesn't choose from the heart right away either. He chooses with his head. His most sensitive and, yes, most attractive organ is his brain. That's where the decision happens. If his mind decides you're the one, everything else follows. So if you're wondering how to win his heart, start by winning his mind. Make him think about you when you're not around. Make him curious. Make him feel like you're a woman he hasn't met before, someone with depth, brilliance, and emotional intelligence. Show him you're not like the rest. Because once he's mentally engaged, once that red X in his mind flips into a glowing green checkmark, boom, everything changes. That's when he begins to really open up. That's when the walls come down and the door to his soul cracks open. But without that intellectual spark, he'll keep that door locked tight. Now here's something wild. The intellectual level is where you actually have the biggest advantage. Why? Because, unlike physical attraction or emotional highs, this space is hard to fake. Not everyone knows how to talk, to stimulate a man's mind, to make him feel seen for who he is up here. But when you do, that's where the magic happens. That's where he starts imagining a future with you. Think of it this way, his world is full of noise, flashing lights, constant motion, high-stakes everything. He's jetting off to Switzerland, closing deals, sailing on yachts, attending events. His life is a non-stop adrenaline rush. So what does it take for you to become the calm, powerful presence that stands out? Not just beauty, not just vibes. Wisdom, depth, thoughtful connection. That's what he remembers. That's what he chooses. So yes, channel your inner Helen of Troy. Be magnetic. Be clever. Be a woman of skill and soul. It's in those conversations, in your curiosity, in your ability to challenge and uplift him intellectually, where you begin to truly stand out. And here's the secret sauce. Once you've sparked his mind, it becomes much easier to ignite the other layers. The physical connection intensifies, the emotions deepen, and, finally, his spirit opens to you. But don't make the common mistake so many soulful women make. Don't try to start with the spiritual level. I know, you've done the work. You're into energy, practices, healing, presence. And that's beautiful. But if you come to him bearing your soul on day one, hoping he'll meet you there, you might end up heartbroken. Because he's just not built that way. He starts with attraction, then feelings, then thoughts, and then, only then, comes the spiritual layer. You've got to meet him where he is first, then guide him upward. So build a steady connection, start at the base, and work your way to the top. Be magnetic, be emotionally rich, be intellectually brilliant, and gently, patiently, let your souls meet in the middle. You've got this, ladies. Remember the 4 levels of connection. Remember the difference between high vibe and low vibe men. And remember, when you touch a man on all 4 levels, you don't just win his heart. You win his devotion. If this resonated with you, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the next video in this series. Trust me, we're just getting started. You're not just learning how to attract a man, you're learning how to create a love that lasts. Ever wonder why your text conversations with men feel like they're going absolutely nowhere? Let's get real. Most women are texting guys, but few know how to do it in a way that actually builds connection. Instead, you end up in this endless loop of meaningless back and forth. Hey, how are you? What did you do today? Tomorrow, let's text again? And nothing real ever happens. You're stuck. And if you're nodding right now, then you already know this kind of texting doesn't build value. It just delays the possibility of something real, like an actual date. Here's the harsh truth. All that casual chit-chat, that endless stream of nothing? It doesn't lead anywhere. It's not charming. It's not mysterious. It's not working. You're not guiding the conversation, you're just letting it drift. And no woman ever won over a high-quality man by being forgettable. Let's make one thing crystal clear. Mindless chatter has never helped anyone build a meaningful relationship. Not once. If you're going to talk, even like I am right now, there better be depth. There better be purpose. Otherwise, you're just making noise. And now? Now we shift gears. Because I'm about to show you how to text like fire, captivating, emotional, magnetic. The kind of texting that makes him pack a suitcase, buy a plane ticket, or beg to see you. The kind that makes him chase you. Ready? First rule, cut the chatter. Seriously, what happens when you just toss messages back and forth like you're passing notes in class? Hey, how are you? What are you up to? I'm just at work. Same here. Wanna talk tomorrow? This is not flirting. This is not chemistry. This is filler. You're not building attraction, you're killing it. Here's what you need to understand. Real connection happens offline. Real relationships mean real dates, real time together. Think movies, travel, laughing in person, holding hands. Why? Because when a man likes a woman, he wants to be near her. He wants to hug her, kiss her, feel her. That's what real chemistry is made of. So if you've been stuck in text land for weeks, or worse, months, thinking you're in a relationship, I've got news for you. You're not. If it's been more than 2 months of text-only connection. Babe, it's time to move on. And guess what? It's not his fault. It's yours, for letting it happen. Stop giving away your time, your energy, and your emotions for free in a text thread. Cut it off early if it's going nowhere. Why does this happen? Because we confuse routine check-ins with real connection. We saw our parents do it. How was your day? What's for dinner? But they lived together. They were a couple. That kind of conversation belongs after the relationship has formed, not before. Don't mistake comfort zone texting for building a bond. You're not in the relationship comfort phase. You're at the beginning. This is when things should be thrilling, passionate, electric. So what's the golden rule? Every conversation should lead to a real-life meeting. No one gets married or falls in love through emojis. If your texts aren't gently but firmly pushing towards seeing each other in person, you're wasting time. And if you're not careful, you'll slip right back into that familiar, comfy space. But comfort isn't the goal. Connection is. So how do you do it? How do you guide him toward a date, without sounding pushy? The answer lies in your energy. It's not just what you say. It's how you say it. That's your secret weapon, your feminine energy. Your words should carry warmth, softness, curiosity, make him feel something, lightness, playfulness, emotional sunshine. Don't be dry, don't be robotic, and for the love of love, don't be boring. And when the topic of a date finally comes up, don't say, let's get coffee at 3 p.m. at this place. That's what 99% of women do. And it sounds like you're just hungry, or bored, or need an excuse to wear lipstick. Instead, say something like, I'd love to lose myself in the eyes of someone who can truly hold my attention. Or, I imagine our first meeting feeling like that scene in a movie, you know, the one where everything else fades out except us. Give him a feeling, not a calendar invite. He doesn't want a checklist. He wants an experience. And if you can make him feel what it might be like to be around you, to laugh with you, to be seen by you, he'll make that date happen himself. So remember, your #1 job in texting is simple. Lead him to the real world. Don't waste years waiting for a miracle behind a screen. The miracle happens in person. And it starts with the way you text today. Want more tough love and real talk like this? Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and check out the other videos on the channel. Oh, and don't forget to follow us on socials. All the good stuff is linked in the description. You've got this. Stop texting like a pen pal, and start texting like the prize you are. Now here's the next rule you need to lock in. Whoever asks the questions, holds the power in the conversation. And unfortunately, what I see all the time. The man isn't asking any questions at all. That's not a great sign. If he's not asking about you, it usually means he's not that curious. And when a man isn't curious, he's not emotionally engaged. Your job is to create that curiosity, to spark it, to nurture it, until he's the one chasing your vibe. Sounds tricky? It's not, once you understand how to do it. First step? Start asking him questions. Seems simple, but so many women miss this. They just talk about themselves, what they did today, what they saw, what they're planning, and never turn the spotlight around. And that's where the connection dies. Let me say this again, real relationships are built through dialogue, not monologue. You can give a short story about yourself, sure, especially if he asks. But it needs to sit inside a conversation, not replace one. Especially online, in chats or DMs, where everything is naturally more compact. Keep it tight, keep it emotional, but always circle it back to him with a question. This is what shifts the energy from one-sided to shared. You're not writing an autobiography. You're opening a door. Make your messages feel like a warm invitation, not a diary entry. Share a little, then ask. Create that rhythm, that balance. Because here's what sets dialogue apart from empty chatter: mutual interest. And how do we express interest? With questions. Thoughtful, curious, sincere questions. Don't know what to ask? Let's fix that right now. Try questions like, what kind of sports do you love watching or playing? Are you a cook at home guy or more into finding cool places to eat out? If you could go back to one place you've traveled, where would you go? What's something you could talk about for hours without getting bored? These aren't random, they're purposeful. They help you find the topics that light him up. Because once you find the spark, conversation flows on its own. And listen, when a man sees you asking real, personal, non-basic questions, it shows him you're actually interested in him, not just filling time. And people love feeling interesting. When someone makes us feel seen, we naturally want to keep talking to them. Now here's where a lot of women go wrong. They tell me, he's not replying anymore, or, he used to message me but now he barely says anything. So I check the messages and what do I find? Wall of text. All about her. I was here today, and then I did this, and I'm thinking about doing that tomorrow. I'm so tired. I really need a break. And so on. Meanwhile, not one question for him. That's not a conversation. That's a performance. And eventually, the audience gets bored. Worse, you're pouring out your energy. You're investing in him, giving your time, your vibe, your attention. And he's just soaking it up, enjoying the ego boost. Because let's be real, guys love attention. They'll take it from as many women as they can. Natasha, Tanya, Marina, all sending their energy, hoping maybe he'll finally ask one of them out. But he won't. Why? Because he's already getting what he wants. Your energy, for free. This is why you need to ask questions, almost every time you message. A good question doesn't just keep the conversation going. It pulls him in. Let's say he sends, "Hey, I'm good, just working late today." That's a statement. If he doesn't ask you anything, what are you even supposed to reply to? Now flip it. Imagine you message him, "Crazy day, but I finally got a minute to breathe." Quick question though, are you a night owl or an early riser? Boom. Instant reply opportunity. He doesn't have to think. He just responds. And now you're back in flow. But a word of caution, don't overload. Asking 5 questions at once? Way too much. That's not engaging, it's overwhelming. He's not filling out a personality quiz. Instead, stick to 1 or 2 questions per message. Make them from different angles. One about hobbies, one about travel. One about food, one about tech. That way, you're casting a wider net. Something will land. And when it does, that's your thread to pull. Questions are the key. Use them wisely, and you won't be left on read. You'll be the one he can't wait to respond to. And now for the 5th point, one that's seriously powerful: message hooks. This is next level stuff, and if you've made it this far, you're ready for it. Hooks are the secret sauce of great texting. They're how you make a man want to come back to your messages, again and again. They keep things interesting, personal, and emotionally engaging. Without hooks, your conversations fizzle. With them, You stand out from every other woman in his inbox. Let me give you a real example. A few years ago, there was this woman texting a man who lived in Switzerland. He was an environmental scientist and had just moved apartments, so he went silent for a few days. When he finally replied, she sent a message like this: "Oh, so you finally returned. I suppose I'll forgive you, but only if you bring me coffee in bed." Playful, cheeky, so far, so good. But then, things took a turn. She launched into a long message about her 2 sons, their school drama, what worked, what didn't. Next paragraph? Real estate in Cyprus, how her friends live there, how she's on an email list about investing in property. Then she started talking about her hobbies, knitting, crafting, random creative projects. And finally, she ended with how tired she is of her job and how she's thinking about switching careers. Then she hit send. A detailed message, sure. But guess what? He didn't respond. She came to me and said, why didn't he write back? I don't get it. So I asked her a few simple questions. Is he from Cyprus? No, he's Swiss. Does he work in real estate? No, he's an environmentalist. Does he have kids? Nope. Then what exactly was he supposed to respond to? He had written her a thoughtful message about his move, his work in ecology, and life in Switzerland. Instead of engaging with any of his topics, she spun off into a monologue about things that had nothing to do with him. That's the problem. She missed the hooks he gave her. And that's why her message, despite being long and interesting, went nowhere. Let me make this clear. A hook is a moment in a message that invites a response, that opens a door, that creates connection. In that Swiss guy's message, the hooks were obvious. His job in environmental science, moving to a new apartment, his life in Switzerland. That's where she could have grabbed on. Maybe asked about the view from his new place. Or what inspired him to work in ecology. Or how he feels about living in such a structured, nature-filled country. Instead, she sent 5 mini-stories about her life, none of which he could relate to or build a conversation around. This is what I call disconnected dialogue. You're sending information, but not making it conversational. And when that happens, the guy has no idea what to do with your message. Here's another example. A man once wrote to a friend of mine who, by the way, is now happily married with 2 kids. He said, I travel often to Italy. I'm a perfumer. I collect scents and love exploring Asia for rare floral notes. I once took the Orient Express through Italy. And I absolutely adore Italian cuisine. And she turns to me and says, what do I write back? I'm like, are you kidding? That message is loaded with hooks. Travel, perfume, scent exploration, the Orient Express, food, 5 golden topics you could build a response around. So what should she have done? She could have picked just 1 or 2. Wow, the Orient Express? That sounds like a dream. Did it feel as luxurious as the movies make it seem? Or, you're a perfumer? That's such a romantic profession. Do you have a favorite scent that instantly lifts your mood? That's all it takes. You don't have to respond to every hook, just 1 or 2. That's enough to build rapport and keep the rhythm going. And yes, it's totally fine to sprinkle in a bit of your own story, your aces, as I like to call them, the unique things that make you unforgettable. But don't overload. Your message should feel like a light, intriguing exchange, not a blog post. I'll be breaking down how to keep your messages the right length and emotionally flavorful in the next video, along with some secrets on how to give your number in a way that actually makes him want to use it, so it doesn't just disappear into the contact graveyard on his phone. Ladies, there are hundreds of tiny tricks like these, subtle moves that turn a simple chat into the beginning of something real. Because let's face it, there are plenty of beautiful women out there. There are plenty of smart ones, too. But women who know how to subtly and skillfully weave connection into every word they type. They're rare. Be that woman. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and if you picked up something new today, drop it in the comments. What part of this really clicked for you? Let's keep making your conversations unforgettable.
How do you make a man chase you? Not just for a night, not just during the honeymoon phase, but chase you like you're his personal fairy tale wrapped in mystery and moonlight. It all starts with how you see yourself. And not just in the mirror, but in the silent power of your energy. The kind of power that makes a man stop mid-sentence, mid-scroll, mid-thought, and think of you. Not because you were the loudest in the room, or the easiest to get, but because you knew something that most women forget. A man doesn't chase what he already has. He chases what he almost has. Let's break it down even deeper. Master the art of emotional silence. Emotional silence isn't coldness. It's not pretending you don't care. It's the golden pause between his action and your reaction. When he texts you late at night, you don't respond with a novel. You don't even respond immediately. You let him wonder. Is she asleep? Out? With someone else? That's not game playing, it's intrigue. When you stop offering emotional overexposure, no paragraphs, no constant updates, no, just thinking about you, texts, you create space. And in that space, guess what grows? Curiosity. Tension. Desire. He'll lean in, inch by inch, hungry for clues. And when you do finally speak, your words will feel like rare treasure. This doesn't mean you hide your feelings forever. It means you don't serve them on a silver platter. Give him glimpses. Echoes. Enough for him to crave more. Because the mystery of, what's she really feeling, is far more intoxicating than the certainty of, she's already mine. Create moments of absence. Want to know what men remember most? The moment you're not there. The party you didn't attend. The day you didn't call. The story someone else told about you that he wasn't part of. That's when the chase begins in his head. The absence creates presence. So don't be omnipresent. Be intentional. Let your schedule be full: gym, gallery openings, brunch with friends, silent Sundays with a face mask and a good book. Let him realize you're not always available, not always reachable, not always waiting. He'll start to fill in the blanks. He'll start to feel the gap between wanting you and having you. And that's where desire simmers, right in the space where he can't quite touch you yet. Feed his imagination, not his ego. A man's ego wants praise. But his imagination? That's where the real obsession lives. The goal isn't to tell him he's attractive or funny, that's surface level. The goal is to make him feel like the most interesting man in the world, without spelling it out. You do this by being deeply present in moments, but never too available. Laugh with him, challenge him, admire him, but always with an undercurrent of playful restraint. Let your eyes say, I see you. Let your smile say, but I'm not yours yet. Ask questions that make him reflect. What's something you've never told anyone? If you weren't doing what you do now, what would you risk everything for? These aren't just flirty lines, they're open doors into vulnerability. And vulnerability is where the chase turns into connection. Let him chase not just your body, but your mind, your spirit, your mystery. That's where the long game lives. And when he does show up, with flowers, with effort, with intention, receive it, warmly. But don't drop your standards. Don't rearrange your life. Let the message be clear, you're not impressed by gestures. You're impressed by consistency. And ladies, remember this, when you become the woman he has to rise up to meet, not the one who lowers herself to keep him interested, that's when the magic happens. Stick around, because in the next video, I'll give you the exact scripts, the subtle, powerful words to say, that plant seeds of desire deep in his mind and heart. And if you haven't yet, hit that like button, subscribe for more secret level advice, and don't forget to check out the links in the description for more ways to level up your love life, quietly, confidently, and on your own terms. Add mystery to your conversations. If you want a man to feel magnetically drawn to you, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, learn the art of mystery. This isn't about manipulation. It's about mastery. And in the realm of romantic attraction, few forces are more potent than a well-placed pause, a half-finished sentence, or a smile that suggests you're thinking of something he's dying to know. Mystery adds gravity to your words. It makes everything you say feel a little deeper, a little more layered, like a puzzle he suddenly can't stop trying to solve. Think about it. When someone tells you everything up front, when they lay their life out like a resume, how long do you stay curious? Not long. But when a person shares just a sliver, something real, something textured, but leaves the rest unsaid, you lean in. You start imagining. You start feeling. That's exactly what you're doing here. You're creating emotional white space. You're allowing your silence to say just as much as your words. For example, next time you're with him, tell a story that seems to hint at something deeper. Maybe it's about your travels, or a strange encounter, or a dream you once had. But stop before the ending. Smile. Actually, never mind. That one's too personal for today. Watch his eyes. Watch how he shifts forward, just slightly. That's the power of mystery in motion. Use the cliffhanger technique. Every great novel has chapters that end with questions. Every unforgettable show ends on a cliffhanger. And when it comes to capturing a man's attention, and keeping it, you can borrow that same storytelling rhythm. It's called the Zeigarnik effect, and it's not some pop-psych TikTok trick. It's a real cognitive bias, first discovered by Russian psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik. The theory? We remember unfinished things way more vividly than completed ones. It's why we obsess over texts that stop mid-thought. Why unanswered questions echo in our minds. Why that one sentence you didn't finish might linger in his brain for hours, or days. So use it. When you're texting, don't always tie the bow. End on a high note. Tease something, then let it dangle. There's something I've been thinking about you lately, but I'm not sure if I should say it yet. That line alone can keep a man up at night, spinning theories. Or in conversation, just when the energy peaks, say, "I'll tell you the rest next time." It's better in person. You're not being distant, you're being unforgettable. And don't just rely on words. Let your actions build mystery too. Vary your schedule. Don't be always available. Let him guess where you are, what you're doing, who you're doing it with. It doesn't mean you're playing games. It means your life is rich, full, and beautifully yours. When he senses that you're not just sitting by the phone, waiting for him to call, he'll chase harder. Why? Because men are wired to pursue value, and nothing is more valuable than a woman whose life is her own. Anchor him emotionally with signature phrases. Here's where mystery turns into memory. Because once he's intrigued by you, once he's leaning in, craving more, you have the perfect chance to create something even more powerful, emotional anchoring. Think of it like planting a seed in his mind. A phrase. A word. A little verbal fingerprint that's yours. Something warm, unique, and emotionally resonant that you repeat in just the right moments. And over time, that phrase becomes more than words. It becomes a feeling. You become that feeling. Maybe your phrase is, "so sweet," or, "this is magic," or, "that's us." Say it with meaning, but don't overuse it. The trick is subtlety. Use it after a kiss, after a shared laugh, or in a quiet moment that feels special. Then later, echo it in a message, "Last night was so sweet." So us. What you're doing is creating a neurological shortcut in his brain, linking those words to dopamine, to warmth, to connection. And here's the kicker, even if he doesn't consciously remember where he heard it, his body will remember how it felt. That phrase becomes your signature, your imprint. And one day, when he hears someone else say it casually, he'll think of you. He won't know why, but he'll feel it. Used right, this technique can be unbelievably powerful. It's romantic branding, emotional psychology wrapped in intimacy. And it works on even the most logical, emotionally guarded men. Because beneath the surface, all humans are wired the same. We connect feeling to words, moments to memory. Just don't overdo it. If he starts catching on, if it starts to feel calculated, the magic fades. Keep it light. Keep it real. And most of all, keep it you. If you've ever played with mystery like this, or if you've got your own secret lines and moves, drop them in the comments. You never know who you might inspire. And if this stirred something in you, hit that like button, subscribe, and make sure you don't miss the next video, because we're just getting started. Your story isn't just a romance, it's a legend in the making.
Who are you really attracting? A self-made millionaire with vision and emotional depth, or just another guy asking if you can cover his Uber again? What if I told you that the answer has nothing to do with your looks, your clothes, or even your IQ? It all comes down to your energy. And no, not in a woo-woo, crystals on the windowsill kind of way. I'm talking about the vibe you carry. The kind of unspoken confidence and presence that high-value men notice instantly, even before you say a word. Here's the truth, a man who has built something for himself isn't out here looking to rescue anyone. He's not drawn to neediness. He's looking for someone to build with, a woman who's not sitting around waiting to be saved, but one who's already living her life with joy, purpose, and power. So, what's the number one trait that draws in a man like that? Inner happiness. And not the kind you fake with a forced smile or filtered Instagram posts. I'm talking about real joy, the kind that radiates from the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, and how you respond when no one's watching. Men who are grounded and successful are naturally drawn to women who live with intention, women who aren't looking to be someone's everything, but are already whole on their own. Picture this, you're at a gathering. You're not scanning the room, hoping someone will make the night interesting. You are the spark in the room. You're telling stories, laughing from the heart, lifting the mood just by being present. That woman? She's not just beautiful, she's unforgettable. And high-caliber men notice her. Not because she's trying to impress, but because she's fully herself. So how do you actually build that kind of inner joy? Start by doing what lights you up. Whatever makes you lose track of time, painting, running, writing, dancing, learning, do more of that. These are the activities that refill your energy and sharpen your identity. Next, surround yourself with people who genuinely support you, people who inspire, not drain. And make gratitude a non-negotiable habit. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every day. It doesn't have to be big, just consistent. Watch how it shifts your entire state of being. Now let's talk about the second non-negotiable trait that successful, emotionally mature men look for. Emotional maturity. Here's the reality, no grounded man wants to come home to emotional chaos. He doesn't have time for constant drama, passive-aggressive jabs, or emotional roller coasters. But let's be clear, emotional maturity doesn't mean bottling up your feelings or being a robot. It means understanding your emotions, not being controlled by them. It's knowing how to express yourself without turning it into a battle. It's choosing clarity over confrontation. It's being able to say, I want to understand where you're coming from, can we talk this through, instead of going silent, storming out, or throwing shade. That's not weakness. That's leadership. That's the kind of emotional intelligence that makes a man think, she's someone I can actually build a future with. Want to cultivate that kind of strength? Start with active listening. Not just hearing words, but truly trying to understand what someone's saying, even when you disagree. Pay attention to your own reactions. Ask yourself, why did that trigger me? What was I actually feeling in that moment? Then, explore emotional intelligence through books, podcasts, conversations. Learn how people think, feel, and express love, including yourself. Now comes the real question. Are you a magnet for men who are thriving, emotionally stable, and secure in themselves? Or do you keep attracting guys who need you to see their potential, while they drain your energy? Your vibe, your emotional awareness, your joy, these are the silent signals that speak louder than looks or words. These are the qualities that high-value men are scanning for, not just ambition or beauty, but presence, peace, and power. Upgrade those, and here's the best part, you won't need to chase. You'll attract the right partner just by showing up fully as yourself. If something in this message hit home, if it made you stop and think, tap that like button. Subscribe for more real talk on how to elevate your mindset and relationships. And check the links below for tools to help you level up even further. You've got the power. Now's the time to own it. Mystery. Men are hunters by nature, and every hunter loves a chase. A mysterious woman? She's not just interesting. She's irresistible. Why? Because she sparks curiosity. She makes him want to figure her out, to win her over. But if a woman spills everything about herself in the first 5 minutes, there's no mystery left to solve. No reason to keep chasing. Here's the golden rule, you control how much you reveal, and when. Say less. Keep it short. Leave things open-ended. And yes, that includes literal ellipses. If he asks about your hobbies, don't give him your whole life story. Try something like, "There's one I'm not quite ready to share, maybe next time." Boom. Intrigue activated. So how do you develop this magnetic sense of mystery? Don't rush to share your secrets or deepest thoughts. Let your plans stay a little undefined. If he asks what you're doing this weekend, you might say, "I have something fun planned, but I'll leave the details a mystery for now." And it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. Your body language matters. A subtle smile. A lingering glance. A gentle touch. That's how mysterious women speak volumes without saying a word. And now, the fourth quality, feminine appeal. But this isn't just about being pretty. Real feminine attractiveness is a combination of your appearance, your energy, your body language, how you communicate with men, your emotional presence, your sexuality, and, most importantly, your unique personality. Want to boost yours? Start with your image, wear clothes that highlight your best features and reflect who you truly are inside. Take care of yourself, regular workouts, a clean diet, skincare, they're not just about looking good, they make you feel good too. But don't stop at the surface. Grow your interests. Explore new hobbies. The more passions you have, the more fascinating you become. And guess what? The more overlap you'll have with a future high-value partner. Now let's talk about a secret weapon, soft power. This is the art of being strong and feminine at the same time. A real man wants to feel like your protector, but if you're constantly overwhelmed, anxious, or complaining, even the best man will pull away. What he needs is balance. Soft confidence. So the next time you face a challenge, don't panic. Try this. "I've got this. I can figure it out." That kind of energy makes a man feel at ease, and lets him focus on building his empire instead of constantly running to patch your emotional leaks. To develop your soft power, Practice self-confidence. Know your strengths. Learn to show them gracefully. Do the inner work, meditation, yoga, journaling, anything that helps you stay calm, grounded, and whole. Support your man's goals. Let him know you trust his judgment and are ready to walk with him even when things get tough. And here's a major key, the ability to gently guide him. Remember, the man may be the head, but the woman is the wise neck that turns it. A woman who understands, listens, and truly feels her man's needs, that's the kind of woman he trusts with everything. So, how do you know who you're really attracting? Look around. If your dating life is full of men who don't match your values, goals, or mindset, that's not random. That's your vibe sending signals. Time to change it. Start by placing yourself in environments with people who share your ambitions. Always wanted to learn a new language? Take that class. It opens new doors and new types of people. Build a warm, positive social circle. Create emotional coziness in your relationships. And when you open up, do it wisely. Express your feelings with intention, not out of impulse. And what if you've already found someone you like, but he's suddenly busy, distant, ignoring your texts, or perfecting his excuses? Time for the ultimate move, the hot potato technique. No, this isn't a recipe, it's a clever strategy to reignite his interest. The goal? Tease his curiosity, spark intrigue, and keep the energy playful. Text him something he can't ignore. Hey Igor, I had the strangest dream about you last night. That alone will have him tapping a reply before he even finishes reading. Then, keep the imagination flowing. I saw you as a fearless secret agent. What mission do you think you were sent on? Always end your messages with an open-ended question. Make it easy for him to toss the hot potato back, fast, before it burns. Because at the end of the day, your energy, your mystery, and your confidence are what captivate a man, not your availability. So invest in yourself. Deepen your understanding of relationships. And you will absolutely attract a man who sees your value, supports your growth, and stands proudly beside you. Now go be the woman who doesn't just wait for a great man, she draws him in by being unforgettable. Fire. Like what you heard? Smash that like button, subscribe for more, and check the links below to level up your love life and mindset. You've got this.
What pushes a man away from a woman more than anything else? It's a question that might sting, but it's one we have to ask if we truly want fulfilling, balanced relationships. What is it that turns connection into confusion, attraction into distance? Is it something obvious? Or is it something subtle that builds over time until one day, he just checks out emotionally? Let's take a deep dive into the most powerful behaviors that quietly, or not so quietly, drive men away. And remember, this isn't about changing for anyone. It's about becoming more conscious of the energy we bring into our relationships and how that energy either invites love in, or pushes it away. Harshness. At first glance, harshness might seem like strength. After all, being straightforward, no nonsense, and assertive are valuable qualities. But harshness isn't about strength, it's about edge without empathy. It's the tone that cuts instead of communicates. The look that dismisses instead of engages. It's when warmth gets replaced with ice, and every conversation becomes a test instead of a connection. Men, especially those who are emotionally available and looking for intimacy, are deeply sensitive to this. They may not say it out loud, some were never taught how, but they feel it. That rising tension, the sense that anything they say will be met with criticism or sarcasm, makes them retreat into silence. And once they go quiet, it's not because they don't care. It's because they no longer feel safe showing up fully. And here's the deeper truth. A man who fears your sharpness more than he trusts your softness will start protecting himself from you. And when that happens, the relationship becomes more about defense than connection. The gossip drain. Let's talk about the power of words, not the ones spoken in love, but the ones spoken about other people. Yes, men gossip. Let's not pretend they don't. But male gossip tends to be brief, task-oriented, or wrapped in humor. Female gossip, however, especially the kind fueled by judgment, analysis, and emotional intensity, hits differently. It feels heavier, stickier. And to a man, being around that kind of verbal energy can feel like walking through molasses in a thunderstorm. When a woman constantly critiques other people, friends, family, co-workers, strangers on Instagram, what a man hears underneath it all is, if she's saying this about them, what does she say about me? There's also a deeper layer here. Gossip doesn't just make others look bad. It broadcasts a lack of emotional regulation, a sense of restlessness. And when every conversation is an invitation into someone else's mess, a man may start to wonder if the drama is the real partner in the relationship, not him. To be clear, expressing your thoughts and working through frustrations is healthy. But there's a difference between vulnerability and venting, and between sharing and unloading. The more you honor that difference, the more magnetic you become. The man in a skirt dynamic. This one's delicate, because it has nothing to do with ambition, independence, or being a high-achieving woman. You can be all of those things and still be soft, still be open, still invite a man to show up in his full masculine energy. But when a woman constantly dominates every decision, leads every conversation, directs the relationship like a military operation, and leaves no room for the man to step into his own leadership, he stops trying. Men need to feel needed, not in a dependent way, but in a meaningful, purpose-driven way. When the relationship feels more like a company with a CEO than a partnership with two hearts, he no longer sees himself as a man in her life. He feels like a subordinate. It's not about playing small or being submissive. It's about energetic balance. If both of you are trying to steer the same wheel at the same time, you'll crash. But if there's trust, flow, and room for both strengths to breathe, you move forward together, with grace. And here's the hard truth: if a man always feels like he has to fight for space, for his voice, for his value, eventually he'll go find it somewhere else, or worse, nowhere at all. He'll disappear into himself. And nothing feels more lonely than being with someone who's physically present but emotionally gone. Now here's the fun part, the plus jar. It might seem simple, maybe even silly at first, but the plus jar is where the real emotional magic happens. Think of it as your secret vault of everything he does right, and no, it doesn't have to be grand gestures. In fact, it shouldn't be. The beauty of this jar is that it trains your heart to recognize the everyday kindness, effort, and attention that often gets buried under stress or unmet expectations. Did he check in on your day, even if it was a quick text? That's a plus. Did he remember how you like your coffee? Another one. Did he pick up something you needed without being asked? That's not just a plus, that's 3. But here's the golden rule: don't keep those pluses to yourself. Appreciation kept silent is like a gift you never unwrap. Let him feel the reward of doing right by you. Tell him, smile at him, kiss him, say thank you like you mean it. When a man feels appreciated for who he is, not just what he does, he's inspired to give more, not less. Appreciation is love in action. When you get into the habit of noticing and acknowledging these things, you create an emotional feedback loop that lifts both of you. He feels seen. You feel connected. The relationship feels alive. For every minus, find 3 pluses. Here's where the true discipline comes in. For every annoyance, frustration, or unmet expectation, you challenge yourself to find 3 positives. Not 1. Not 2. 3. Why? Because resentment builds like plaque, slowly, silently, and dangerously. But love? Love is a conscious act. A choice. And that choice is made every time you decide, yes, this bothered me, but look at what else is true. Maybe he forgot your anniversary. That hurts. But did he fix your car last week without you asking? Did he hold your hand in the movie theater like he did when you first met? Did he compliment you when you weren't wearing makeup? Those things matter. They count. And if you don't start counting them, no one will. This isn't about ignoring red flags. It's about not letting minor disappointments poison major love. The 3-to-1 ratio is your protection, from bitterness, from overreaction, from the slow erosion of gratitude. Speak from the plus jar when things are calm. Here's the magic trick. Don't open the minus jar when your heart is hot and your voice is sharp. Wait until you're both calm, safe, light. Then, and only then, gently, lovingly, bring up what's been sitting there. Why does this work? Because when people feel secure, they don't get defensive. When they feel loved, they're more willing to listen. You're not accusing, you're connecting. You're saying, I want to feel closer to you. Can we talk about this? And always, always, soften that moment by first reminding him of what you appreciate. What's working? What makes you feel lucky to be his? That's the dance of real communication, honesty wrapped in warmth. Fear is the thief of joy, choose awareness instead. So much of what breaks relationships isn't cruelty. It's fear. Fear that you're not enough. That he's drifting. That something's wrong. And fear doesn't sit quietly, it shows up as sarcasm, coldness, suspicion, withdrawal. It turns love into a battlefield. But here's the truth, fear can only run the show if you let it. The moment you shift from reaction to awareness, from panic to presence, everything changes. You stop spiraling in your mind and start tuning into your heart. You ask, what's real right now? What's good? What's true? And that's where the plus jar leads you, back to gratitude. Back to the present moment. Back to what's working. Because when you train your eyes to see love, you find love. Over and over again. Gratitude makes you magnetic. You become rich in love the moment you start recognizing it. Truly, seeing it. The little gestures. The unspoken kindness. The patience. The protection. The presence. Men are drawn to women who radiate warmth, who see the best in them, who celebrate the effort, not just the outcome. These women don't fake positivity. They embody it. Not because everything's perfect, but because they know how to focus on what feeds the relationship, not what starves it. And when a man feels that kind of love reflected back at him, it heals him. It anchors him. It pulls him deeper into you, willingly, joyfully, fully. So don't fill your jar with pain. Life will give you enough of that without you hoarding more. Don't collect every flaw, every mistake, every disappointment like trophies of emotional pain. Let it go. Drop it in the minus jar, and then let it be. Don't revisit it over and over until it becomes a story you can't escape. Instead, flood your heart with pluses. Overflow your jar with goodness. Make your relationship a place where love isn't just felt, it's reflected, spoken, returned. That's the woman who stays loved. Not because she's perfect, but because she knows how to love with intention, softness, and joy. And that, my friend, is the most irresistible energy there is. Wishing you deep, magnetic, soul-satisfying relationships. If this opens something in your heart, like, subscribe, and check the description for a free quiz. Why are you still single? You might just find your answer waiting there. See you in the next one.